There are a lot of characters in Twisted Metal 4, the most in the whole series in fact. 26 unique characters, then 4 Create Car specials, equaling out to 30 in total. When it comes to the Create Car, each individual vehicle has different stats. Most of them are complete garbage, like the Crimson Fury car for example is just completely worthless. All of the specials are quite awful as well, aside from the Detno Ball. I'm not including them in these rankings because they smell like my feet do after mowing the lawn. It is now time to see how these characters stack up against each other from worst to best. I play this game on Immortal difficulty with every character, so I will be looking at that to gauge where these characters are ranked. Starting with the biggest piece of crap in the game. Captain Grimm to me is the worst character in Twisted Metal 4, which is a shame because he shares the same name of Grimm, one of my favorite characters to use in every Twisted Metal game. But in this game, he sucks shit through a straw. He has that staple weak armor that the Grimm family are known for and has that straight shooting special, which barely does any damage whatsoever. I sat there bewildered on my first run through of this character seeing how pathetic this special was. You can drive around hoping to survive, but it becomes so hard since your armor is so pitiful. There is actually 0 strengths for this character, which is one of the few times I've come across this blunder so far. Usually regardless of how bad a character is, you always have something positive to look at. But with Captain Grimm, you actually have nothing good to say. Like, what can I even say about this character? Please tell me something good because I cannot find it. Just get this piece of trash out of my face, just good riddance to this shit basket. Next up is Crusher. Look, I know there's some fans out there, people may like this character for the design maybe, but that's the only reason I can see, because he smells like a dirty diaper man, just controls so slow, a special that lasts for barely any time, and barely does any damage as well. It does about 3 ticks of damage, then throws the opponent away. Trash Man does more damage than this, which is pathetic. We live in a world where one of the bosses is at the bottom of a tier list. Of course this is expected, there are so many bosses in this game, some of them are guaranteed to be bad with the list so big. Plus they have 3 other characters who do the same exact thing. One of them needs to be at the bottom of that list too, and that is Crusher without a doubt. The armor is good, I will say, but when your character size is so large on Immortal, it becomes a real issue. When you drive as slow as some people's brains are, how can you expect to avoid any of the free spamming that you're going to be dealing with? If you get frozen, it's possible you will die from that. You are required to shield so much, and you can never go truly aggressive with a character that needs to be at close range to do maximum damage. I was not a fan of this character before I played as it, and I was not a fan of this character while I played as it, and I will never become a fan of this piece of crap. No way, another close range character. Super Auger, one of the brothers of construction. This character is bad. I would have actually put Crusher above Super Auger if that character was slightly smaller, but we live in a world where that is not the case. Auger has terrible acceleration, terrible top speed, but your handling is slightly better than Crusher to help attempt to avoid the freezing. Attempt is the key word there because you probably won't, but you have a chance. These characters all suck, don't get me wrong, but I need to stretch it out a bit just to make one character above another. Auger does have a major flaw though, and that flaw is that you cannot attack someone early, hit them, and expect the special to reset and do full damage. For example, if I use my special, miss, the special spins for a little bit, then I hit someone, I can only do the back end of the special's duration. It does not reset like it does for some of the other characters do, which is ridiculous considering how clunky and slow most of these ones are to play. Missing your special is quite easy to do, and because of that reason alone, this whole situation becomes an ongoing train wreck. It's sad to see Auger towards the bottom again, just like with Twisted Metal 3, but what else can I even say at this point? The character is just not that good.
Hello, mortal. This is your pal Dollar Store Grimm here. I need to make sure you subscribe to this channel and leave a like on the video. Make sure to click the bell icon too. If you don't follow my instructions, then there is no escaping my wrath. Let the world beware.
The third boss in a row, who would have thought? RC car, a very interesting looking car. It has this weird thing on the top, controls quite well actually, and has one of the fastest accelerations in the whole game. Your armor is going to be on the lower side of course, but at least you can dodge some attacks while having a bit of sustainability at the same time, which is more than can be said about the characters we've mentioned already. So what are the weaknesses of this character? The special is terrible. It's just straight trash. You need to be so accurate with this thing, and even when you do hit someone, the damage is nothing to write home about. When I'm sitting here on Immortal and having Mr. Zombie cheating up a storm, spamming a special non-stop, I don't have time to sit there and aim this laser that barely gets any value. Some characters in this game, you can shoot them and the special will just go right over their head, so you need to be in a specific spot or specific angle, and it makes it even harder to get value from this special weapon. Especially when you're playing on Immortal, you can't be going off of theoretical damage. Consistent damage is much more important. Of course, this does more damage than Captain Grimm's special. That's not saying much. It's like saying a Clifford book has more depth than a Twisted Metal Black character story. Like, wow, who would have thought? Oh my god, can you tell me the answer to 1 + 1, 2? It's just stupid. For yet another boss, very underwhelming. You won't believe this. Yet another boss character. I can't believe it myself. Super Slam comes in with 2 M's in his name and has the same issues as the other characters. Terrible acceleration, cannot escape anything, so there's no real sense of reiterating myself with the same exact issues that these other characters share. I will say what is better about Mr. Slam. If you miss someone with your special and then hit someone with your special afterwards, it resets the special timer so you can still get maximum damage, which is how this should behave. I have nothing else to say about this shit heap. Trashman is better than 4 of the bosses and also better than the rest of the melee characters. Some may be confused of why this is, and it's easy. This is the only one who actually controls well. Of course, this is for big car standards, but you can handle quite well. The speed is not bad. You're not overly large like Crusher. You can always get maximum damage with your special, even if you miss the first second of it. It's just great. I don't think the special damage is as high as Slam's, for example, but you can still shoot, freeze, and go crazy while also having good control, so that makes him better than all of the previous. I just don't enjoy large characters very much, but this is the closest I had to fun while playing as one of these guys. If you have not played Twisted Metal 4 recently on Immortal, you will realize how much better Trashman is than the rest, which I'm not really sure how to feel about that. It's disgusting, but it's also a good thing to have at least one melee character that's actually close to fun. Hooray for Big the Cat. Microblast is probably the most underrated character within this entire game. Every single tier list, people always immediately throw him towards the bottom in the garbage tier, since his special is not that good. Of course, this is an undeniable statement. The special is quite literally worthless, only shoots in a straight line and barely does any damage, a really slow regeneration rate for the damage that you're actually outputting. It should be much faster. But Microblast does have a strength that a lot of people seem to overlook, and that's the fact he is so small. When you play on Scout difficulty, you probably won't realize this, but on Immortal, the size actually helps you avoid freezes much easier than any other character in this whole game. Let me tell you, the freeze spamming can get out of control in this game, and having the ability to save your meter is very important on this difficulty. They will usually travel over or around you instead of actually connecting, and it helped me a lot during my playthrough as him. Plus, you being able to save your meter to freeze someone then using an auto lob is stronger than 99% of the specials in this game anyways, so you don't need to worry about wasting it on shielding all the time, which is a great thing to me. Obviously, Microblast isn't like one of the best characters in the game or anything. I just feel like this character is not with the rest of the trash that I've mentioned so far. The family, the real Warthog, this is the character who took over the role of having the colored missiles that do absolute dog shit for damage, but have really good homing capabilities. I was shocked to see the angles these things would turn to hit people sometimes, giving you really consistent damage in a projectile. The armor, speed, and handling are all in the middle, so I feel like this is just your average Joe of this game. Has no real weaknesses, but no strengths either. Just the ability to get consistent damage out on your targets and balanced everywhere else around. Twisted Metal 4's version of Yellow Jacket from the first game, the 3-dot champion, would recommend this character to any new players 100%. General Whitt, the replacement for the all-holy Warthog, and instead of returning in his little Hummer, we now have a World War I tank, which I actually really like. It's a unique design for this franchise. I've always said it, but Twisted Metal 4 has some really cool-ass designs. When it comes to using this character, he is quite slow compared to the rest of his counterparts, which is expected for a piece of crap like this, so you'll most of the time be a sitting duck for freezes and whatever else comes your way. It is always a downside on Immortal because of how prevalent freezing is, so larger characters typically don't do well here, but his special is actually kind of good. If you are familiar with Twisted Metal 4, the strength of the remote bomb will be known to you. Having one of those as a special weapon is a boost to the character's power and allows you to set up traps through portals or do other stupid things to get maximum damage. It has a really long recharge rate, as does every other special weapon in this game, but it's one of the best ones so far. My only issue is the mobility is not good and you can't really charge in to drop a bomb and get out quickly. Using it as a trap is the only way to utilize it. Unless you freeze the person, of course, but then it leaves you open to getting frozen yourself, having less energy to shield, and it becomes this whole issue. General Whitt is a serviceable character here. We are finally now out of the shit zone. It's just a character I just prefer to not use, even though you actually can get some use out of him. Drag Queen is interesting. Some people seem to think this one sucks, but I tend to disagree. Are they worse than Super Thumper? Obviously, most characters are. As a starting character, you can actually get quite a bit of damage done. If you freeze and use the special, which is basically just Thumper's special from the previous games, and spam some weapons at the person, you can do a ton of damage. Although this character is smaller, so if you aren't careful, you can put yourself into a bad situation and die quite fast since the armor is lower. Plus, for a small character, it actually controls like ass for some reason. I have no idea why, but handling is not a good suit for Drag Queen. The general speed is decent though, so there can be some complications in that regard. Feeling like you're driving on a grid takes away from this one a little bit, but nonetheless a serviceable choice as a starter character. This one pains me because I like the design a lot, but my god, Super Axel sucks in this game. His special is quite good, of course. It sets people on fire, and if you do the turbo ramming trick, it can actually do a lot of damage and even send people to the skybox, giving you an instant kill. But he has one crippling flaw, one thing that ruins any enjoyment, and the main reason why he is so low: this character controls like absolute dog shit. I have never sat there using a character thinking what a waste of potential this is. It feels like you're trying to drive a one wheel in a hurricane. Trying to reverse and drive with Axel is practically impossible because it controls so bizarre and slow. I cannot stand this piece of trash one bit. I want to put him personally below Captain Grimm because I hate this piece of crap so much, but sadly I cannot do that since I need to be realistic. Your armor is very high, second to Mr. Tooth, so he can take a beating. Just trying to control this character makes it impossible a lot of the time to maximize your damage output. So if you actually can get in, he will be good because you don't take that much damage yourself. I just can't be bothered with it, and I hate this guy with a burning passion, and I will never touch him again in my life. Yes, I genuinely believe Quattro is a better character than Axel. Sure, he does have the armor, but nothing else. While using Quattro, you can actually get consistent damage in and not accidentally get stuck on things or put yourself into a corner where it takes ages to turn around. Just shield yourself, ram, and use your special. It does the same thing as Axel's where you can push people to the skybox. If not, you still do a ton of damage. Speed out and poof, the use is self-explanatory. Granted, he is not the bee's knees smoking the competition, he just has more use compared to Axel and is the reason I put him above. Ramming damage is not a thing in Twisted Metal 4, so there's not really much to worry about when it comes to that. Shielding while using the special is just a good idea since you'll probably get frozen if you go in without it. Thankfully, we have a character with his aura special that actually doesn't control like complete shit. Minion. This character sucks. Buggy is an interesting character. A lot of people put this higher up on the tier list, like all the way towards the top, which is understandable when you look at the special. It goes through walls, pulls people around all over the place, which can be really amusing. But after your specials are all gone, you don't really have a way of doing much else. Buggy is a really large target. Freezes are gonna fly up your bum with zero ways to escape it. Sure, trying to jump or use lots of shields is an option, but you can't do that forever and you'll just end up being stuck in a pickle. Your handling and speed is expectedly bad, but of course not as terrible as Super Slam, which is beyond me. Buggy is twice the size of that thing, but whatever. The only real strength you have is the special weapon. The harder Twisted Metal 4 becomes, there's nothing for you to utilize when it comes to tactics. I mean no exaggeration when I say avoiding anything is really hard with this character when you don't have a shield. Meter gets burned so fast, then you actually have no way to defend yourself. But the special weapon is better than all the characters so far, plus the armor is serviceable, so this character is not bad by any means, just not as good as you'd initially think. The Mushroom Kingpin, Pizza Boy, even though he is a meme, he's a pretty damn good character. The armor is low as you'd expect with a car of this size, your special is very consistent with damage, the homing seems to always never end until a certain timer comes up or it hits something, that being your enemy or a wall. Reminding me of Spectre, but instead of shooting a ghost missile, you're shooting out pizza blades. I really wish these things were yellow like cheese. Having good evasiveness, good speed, consistent special, can you expect anything better out of a character like this? Straight and simple, easy as that, an all-rounder if you like to play really fast. I'm not gonna say he's a world beater or anything. If you mess up, death is most likely coming to slice your head off with a scythe. If you can survive, great value can be found in the pizza. Gogolize is a gross ass character. He absolutely sickens me to look at. Green skin, gross ass face. He looks like he's been in the sun for 15 weeks, melting his skin to the pavement after getting ran over by a steamroller. But this special genuinely shocked me with how good it was. If you can get enemies lined up, so much damage will be thrown out. People will have no chance against you. Plus, the ability to light someone on fire is another great thing if the enemies aren't frozen. The armor and handling are much better than you'd think for someone of this size. By visual alone, I thought, oh, this guy is just going to be a slower, harder to control character. But no, much better than almost every larger car. If you play Gogolize, you will see how powerful he can truly be. Give him a try and it will be worth it, especially if you have no bosses unlocked. Maid is the quote-unquote outlaw of this game and a genuinely great character to use. Instead of only doing damage like previous titles, Maid actually heals herself, which is very important for Immortal difficulty. Spawn times for items take very long in Twisted Metal 4, as we all know, so being able to heal yourself is a really big deal. Shielding and finding 2 enemies to tether onto is a great way to get about 50% of your health back with just one special use. The best part is that you start levels with 6 of these for some reason. Why? I have no idea, but perfect in case you take a lot of damage. It allows you to save health packs for a later time. As expected, your armor is going to be very weak, but it's not too big of a deal since you have a free way of getting your health back when no one else in the game can. I don't care too much about the smaller details, it's everything you'd expect. The car's strange shape allows her to avoid incoming fire quite easily, good handling and speeds. The special is just so useful, it makes her skyrocket up the list. Robert Zombert, Slob Zombie, Mr. Zombie, whichever you want to call this goofball, is one of the most annoying characters to go against in this whole game. The special spam is disgusting, constantly rapid firing these things out faster than you ever could, so harnessing the power of a monster like this can be a great experience. The special holds people in place, lights them on fire, and explodes while also doing damage with the tether. It's better if you don't freeze someone with it so you can get maximum damage. Plus, during that special use, they are a sitting duck so you can just spam weapons at them, auto-lob them if you have those, and do even more damage on top of the special. Slob Zombie also has more armor than most of the base roster, being a great choice for first-time players trying to get through the game, and a powerful choice for Immortal. The handling is a bit on the iffy side, but a manageable trade-off considering the power you have in your hands. Orbital was a tough choice for me. Initially, I didn't like this character very much, especially on Scout. You won't really see the value he brings to the table. Your first playthrough is always brain dead easy. As I played more and more, the power started to come out. I could see what was going on and the combos you could pull off and tricks you could do. Teleorb might sound bad on paper. Having a freeze as a special sounds boring and not very good, but if you utilize it properly, this can become one of the best specials in the whole game. Sharing similar properties to Slob Zombie, pulling people inwards and then freezing them is a useful tool for Immortal. To keep enemies off your ass, they are so aggressive it's not even funny. The ability to have a free way to do the auto-lob combo does an insane amount of damage. Holding an enemy right in the corner and launching it out will get you maximum damage for that auto-lob almost every single time. Plus, you being able to lay waste into them with everything else, even some cases being able to freeze people as they're falling off the map and getting a free kill that way. The utility is unbelievable. You also having the fastest speed in the entire game aside from the Crimson Fury car is a great thing to have as well because it makes you so evasive while trying to pull off this pussy play. On Scout, he does suck. Immortal on the other hand is a completely different story. The lack of armor doesn't truly matter while you harness this power. Calypso, the only game where he is actually playable. They did a damn good job of making him fun considering that he drives a nuke truck. There's nothing more satisfying than launching one of these and doing 60% of a car's health. The effect is very bright and vibrant, making it a lot of fun to use this, worth picking Calypso for that reason alone. In theory, he has the strongest special. Yes, even stronger than Sweet Tooth. If you hit the right spot, you can actually kill any character in this whole game instantly. Again, yes, even Sweet Tooth, the one who has the most armor out of everyone. Hitting that spot is not easy though. You need to be pixel perfect for that to happen, which in reality won't be performed, especially on Immortal difficulty. Your range is generous obviously, you're launching a nuke, so what do you expect? It still does more than half of some characters' health pools, which is insane. The handling and speed are crap, worse than Slob Zombie and Orbital, so I can understand why people would have those ones above Calypso, but this nuke is just too fun to be overlooked. How can you argue against it? Every other character before pales in comparison to the next two. Super Thumper is leagues above and multiple tier breaks above every other character mentioned so far. I was awestruck when I saw the damage you can dish out while playing as this monster. Mega Fire feels very similar to Twisted Metal 2 Thumper with how much damage you can deal. Freezing someone, lighting them on fire, and shooting missiles at the same time can kill smaller cars practically instantly. Their health pool will be melted in seconds the instant this thing starts up, which also lasts quite a while, I might add. Essentially having no flaws in other departments, great speed and handling, and above average armor. Super Thumper is clearly overpowered, and there isn't much else to say aside from that. Go turn this game on and see for yourself how disgusting the special weapon is. I implore you to. The easiest playthrough of your entire life, even on Immortal difficulty. We all knew who was going to be here, so there's no need to hype anything up. Sweet Tooth is a disaster of a character in this game. Henchman is one of the most disgusting things in the entire franchise. You have absurd armor being the highest in Twisted Metal 4, as I said earlier. Handling and speed is great, but that stuff doesn't even matter. You can give Sweet Tooth the most sluggish stats possible, but as long as Henchman exists, there's nothing that can stop you. A fire and forget special that travels through walls, holds you in place, lights you on fire, shoots missiles, and also explodes after each head is finished. Mostly every character dies instantly from this special attack, and it's no shock of why. What is anyone supposed to do when 3 heads of doom come after you? Hyperspace won't help, shield won't help, nothing can stop this chaos, and there's no reason for me to even go further on this. Fuck this character, he can go to hell, overpowered beyond all belief, but really fun to play or have as an ally. It makes sense why people cheese this boss with proximity mines. Zero fun to play against. That is my tier list for Twisted Metal 4, quite a long one going through over 20 characters. I would love to see your tier list for these characters in the comments. If there's any disagreement of Sweet Tooth being the best character in the game, please let me know why that is. I would hope not, but there may be someone out there who thinks Akar is better than him for some reason.
What is going on, little man? It's Axel here, coming in to thank all of the channel members. If you want to be a cool guy like the rest of these fine people, go ahead and join the channel and spam stupid emotes in chat. Thanks for watching, babies.